Did you know that sometimes just a tiny nutritional deficiency in your daily routine can quietly double your risk of stroke after age 60? It sounds simple, almost too simple. But in more than 30 years of working with older adults, I've seen this truth repeat itself like a quiet reminder. Many people still believe stroke is just fate, or something that simply comes with age. But the reality is softer and clearer. Sometimes our bodies are just missing small, silent vitamins that play a surprisingly powerful role in protecting the heart and the brain. I can't tell you how many patients have walked into my clinic with worry in their eyes, and then just a few months later, after getting the right nutrients, they return looking like a different version of themselves, lighter, more confident, as if the burden on their blood vessels had finally lifted. Moments like that are what convince me that life after 60 isn't about surrendering to time. It's about making small, wise choices that quietly reshape our health every single day. Today, I want to open that door with you, to take a closer look at the vitamins that can quietly reduce your risk of stroke, and maybe even change the course of your health journey. When we cross into our 60s, our bodies begin to change in ways that are quiet, almost unnoticeable at first. Our blood vessels aren't as flexible as they once were. They become more fragile, like an old piece of tubing that can crack or build up plaque with just a bit of pressure. Sometimes, when I look at a patient's vascular ultrasound, it feels like I'm looking at the timeline of their life. Years of hard work, stress, skipped meals, long nights, all etched gently into the walls of their arteries. What's surprising is that this doesn't happen only because of high blood pressure or age. It can also come from tiny deficiencies most people never pay attention to. When the body lacks certain essential vitamins and minerals, the blood becomes less fluid, the vessel walls inflame more easily, and the whole circulatory system feels like a slow, smoldering fire beneath the ashes. And yet, so many of us focus only on blood pressure pills or heart medications, believing that's all we need. But I've seen far too many cases that prove the opposite. When the right nutrients are added back in, the blood vessels begin to soften, circulation becomes smoother, and the risk of clot formation drops noticeably. Stroke prevention isn't just about medication. It's about caring for your blood vessels through the small things, the daily things, that quietly restore balance and health. If there's one vitamin I wish every person over 60 would pay closer attention to, it's vitamin K2. I often call it the silent gatekeeper of your blood vessels, because its job works almost like a quiet traffic controller, guiding calcium away from your artery walls and sending it back to where it truly belongs, your bones, which slowly weaken as the years go by. I want you to picture this. When calcium gets lost and starts sticking to the artery walls, it causes those vessels to stiffen, narrow, and make the flow of blood to the brain feel heavier and more restricted. That is the very foundation of the strokes so many of us fear. But when K2 is present in the right amount, it's like opening a clear pathway. Your vessels stay more flexible, your blood pressure stabilizes, and your risk of plaque buildup drops significantly. What's unfortunate is that more than 80% of Americans over 60 are deficient in K2, simply because we no longer eat the fermented foods that naturally contain it. And that's why I always remind people about this nutrient, a quiet gatekeeper that needs to be awakened, so it can protect your blood vessels the way they were meant to be protected. If K2 is the gatekeeper of your blood vessels, then vitamin D3 is its inseparable partner. I often tell my patients D3 and K2 are like two hands opening the same door. The door that allows your blood to flow freely. Take one away, and that door is always at risk of getting stuck. Imagine this with me. Every single day, our bodies deal with countless quiet inflammatory reactions, shifts in blood sugar and changes in blood pressure that rise and fall with stress or emotion. Vitamin D3 acts like a warm, steady light that helps calm all of this, lowering inflammation, stabilizing blood sugar, and keeping your vessel walls in a more peaceful state. But the full strength of D3 only shows up when it works alongside K2. One of my patients, Richard, age 68, was very diligent about taking vitamin D3. He believed the more, the better. What he didn't know was that without K2, calcium can travel to the wrong places, settling in the arteries instead of strengthening the bones. When I explained this and helped him start the proper D3 plus K2 combination, His numbers improved noticeably within just a few months. He told me, "I wish I had known this sooner." The D3 and K2 pair is more than just vitamins. It's a key to keeping your blood vessels flexible, clean, and free from dangerous blockages while protecting your brain every single day. When we talk about health after 60, I always set aside a special moment to emphasize vitamin B12 and the B vitamin family. Not because they're magical, but because they protect your body in a quiet, steady way. Like a friend standing behind you, keeping your nervous system and blood vessels safe every single day. Have you ever heard of homocysteine? It's a substance in the blood, and when its levels rise, the risk of stroke rises with it. I often tell my patients, homocysteine is like a small hidden flame, and the B vitamins, especially B12, B6 and B9, are the water that helps put that flame out. But here's the unfortunate truth. After age 60, our bodies absorb B12 much less efficiently. The stomach stops producing enough acid, and even nutritious foods don't get fully unlocked. That's why so many people begin to feel numbness, memory lapses, or an unsteady gait, and assume it's just aging. One of my patients, Mr. Harris, once told me he felt as if the dust had been wiped off his memory. After taking B12 properly, within just a few months, his clarity and focus noticeably returned. I want you to imagine this. If blood flow to the brain is like a long roadway, then the B vitamins are the dedicated repair crew, keeping every nerve signal smooth, clear and safe. And sometimes, with enough B12, things become brighter and clearer than you'd ever expect. When it comes to protecting your blood vessels, I often picture vitamin E and omega-3 as a soft jacket wrapped around your arteries, helping them withstand the wear and tear that time naturally brings. Have you ever felt your body becoming a little heavier, as if your blood no longer flows as smoothly as it once did? Many of my patients tell me they feel exactly that, even if they can't quite put it into words. Vitamin E acts like a protective shield, guarding your vessel walls from oxidative damage, the kind that slowly weakens arteries year after year. Omega-3, on the other hand, is the great regulator. It helps lower triglycerides and reduces platelet stickiness, so the blood doesn't become too thick or sluggish. When these two nutrients work together, circulation becomes smoother, lighter and more natural, and the risk of ischemic stroke drops. As a result, I remember one patient, Eleanor, 70 years old, who told me that after taking omega-3 consistently, she felt her mind become clearer, like a morning fog slowly lifting. She said, "I don't know how to explain it, I just feel lighter." I want you to imagine a river flowing through a village on a bright, calm day. Clear water, smooth currents, everything moving gently. That's what vitamin E and omega-3 can bring to your blood vessels. They don't create miracles, but they create a kind of ease your body has been waiting for. Magnesium is one of those minerals I've always considered the body's quiet rhythm keeper. Have you ever felt your heart beat a little too fast, or skip just slightly, and brushed it off as stress or fatigue? Many of my patients thought the same until they discovered their bodies were low in magnesium. I want you to picture this. The heart is like an orchestra, and magnesium is the conductor that keeps every beat steady and in harmony. When magnesium is low, the risk of atrial fibrillation increases, a hidden cause of stroke that many people overlook. Magnesium also helps relax the blood vessels, support healthy blood pressure, and soothe a nervous system that's been stretched thin. The unfortunate truth is that people over 60 are especially prone to magnesium deficiency, especially if they're taking blood pressure medication or stomach acid-reducing drugs. But once magnesium is replenished properly, many of my patients tell me they feel their whole body settle down, their heartbeat becomes more even, and their mind feels noticeably calmer. After age 60, the body often sends us tiny signals, small but meaningful. A kind of tiredness you can't explain, tingling in the fingers in the morning, brief moments of dizziness, or a heartbeat that suddenly feels a little faster than usual. Many people brush these off as just getting older, but in reality, they can be quiet reminders that the body is missing important vitamins. What worries me is that many older adults unintentionally develop habits that make the problem worse: taking calcium incorrectly, eating too much salt, relying on pain relievers too often, moving too little, and rarely getting sunlight anymore. These small choices over time can quietly push the blood vessels into danger without us even realizing it. When it comes to supplementing vitamins after age 60, I always want to emphasize this. Everything should be done gently, but with intention. The first thing I advise my patients to do is get regular blood work. A simple test can tell you where your vitamin D, B12, and homocysteine levels stand, and those three markers can significantly influence your stroke risk. I often tell my patients, you don't always need to take a handful of supplements. Sometimes eating the right foods is enough. Foods like natto, eggs, fatty fish, leafy greens, and nuts are quiet friends that nourish your blood vessels every single day. But I also want you to remember this. If you're taking blood thinners, be careful. Never start high-dose vitamins on your own without talking to your doctor first. Small precautions like these help keep your health journey safe and sustainable. Before we finish, I want to share something I've believed throughout my 30 years of caring for older adults. Stroke doesn't happen overnight. It builds over months and years of tired blood vessels through the moments when we forget to take care of ourselves. The good news is that with just a few right choices, the right vitamins, at the right dose, at the right time, you can dramatically lower your risk. So today, I want to invite you to take a few minutes and ask yourself, is my vitamin routine truly supporting me? If not, this is the moment to begin. Caring for your blood vessels, starting today, is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the people you love.